Another way we can get live video out of our TriCaster is using a multi-view. Now, typically, a multi-view is going to display multiple sources on the screen, but it is possible to configure it to display one source full screen. Now, between using a multi-view for output or one of the mix outputs that we just discussed in the previous video, I would generally recommend using a mix output first. It's a bit more attuned to the broadcast standard, but if that isn't critical to your workflow, then using a multi-view output will be fine. Let's take a look at how we configure a multi-view for this purpose. So here we are in the TriCaster, and this is the primary interface. Let's take a look at the secondary interface, the multi-view, so we can see how it's currently configured. You can see right now it is set up as a 16:up view, showing me lots of different sources. So let's reconfigure this monitor instead to show me just one full screen source. So that can be done from the primary user interface. Under the workspaces menu, this is where we can configure our multi-view monitors. I will go to the multi-view in question. In my case, it's multi-view 2 because I only have one additional monitor connected. And these are my different layouts. You're looking for a layout that looks like one large box, like in slot A. And if none of yours appear this way, then under load default, this is where you can find other layouts. The one you're looking for is called full screen. You can select this, and this will place the full screen output in whichever checked multi-view slot you have selected at this time. But I'll just go select A. And now if we go back and look at our multi-view, you can see it is appearing as one large output. Now, by default, it's going to be program out. But if you want to change it to one of your other mix outputs, that can be done. I can put my pointer onto the screen, right click, and here are all of the things I could change this multi-view to display. So for example, let's say if I'd rather look at mix 2, which is configured as my clean feed output, I could go to outputs, mix 2, and now you can see a clean feed output on this multi-view. Now, one last thing you might want to configure, because as you notice, your pointer can move to that screen and that would be visible on the output, is you can go to the options menu and choose this option called lock mouse to primary monitor. And that will keep your computer pointer locked to the primary display so it can't wander off to one of the multi-view monitors to prevent that from happening. One last thing you might also want to configure is the audio output. You might want audio to also go out that computer connector. Now, this is only going to work if the computer connection you have set up supports audio like HDMI or DisplayPort. If you happen to be using a multi-view on a DVI connector, DVI doesn't support audio, so this will not be an option. But what you can do is go to the audio mixer, go to whichever audio output you plan on using, click the gear, and down at the bottom where it says device, you can go in here and find your NVIDIA graphics card. Like right here, I've got NVIDIA. You might have to go play with it a bit and find out which one is which, because there could be other ones. It might be this one up here, for example. But one of those should be the corresponding HDMI output that you have this connected to, and that will then include audio with it as well. I do want to make one special thing to point out is that on some model TriCasters, the minis especially, the default device output is going to be the front panel audio card on that unit. So if you switch this to something else, while you'll be putting audio, for example, on that HDMI output, you will be removing audio from the front connectors found on your TriCaster Mini. So just keep that in mind depending upon if you're using those outputs or not.